Hey, friends. Thank you so very much for joining me in the first premiere episode of The Waiting Room entitled, Who Are You? Now, this episode has a chill vibe type of flow, so go ahead, get to that kitchen, grab that beer, that margarita, or something that just makes you feel good as we discuss some quick tips on how to solve for self. And don't be stingy or shy, friends. Don't forget, drop your comments below so we can have an actual conversation. Let's talk about it. And welcome to The Waiting Room. Greetings and welcome to the premiere first episode of The Waiting Room. I am your host, Jess. Thank you very much. And we are finally here. We have made it. We have jumped off the waiting list to discuss some topics to help us solve for self. Today's episode is entitled, Who Are You? Now, before we get to the you, let's focus a little bit on the me, my favorite topic. Jess, how did I get here to a place where I felt like I wanted to share my experience of waiting with viewers such as yourself? A little bit of a story. Grew up, single parent home, got my education, went to school, followed all excellent advice to do what everyone told me to do to succeed, and found that I got to a point where I just was not happy. And then you have people that want to chime in and say, well, find a hobby, get a second job, have a child, get a dog.
Not it!
Doesn't always work that way for everyone. So, abandoning all excellent advice, abandoning all the stories and the details about how to get it done, I stepped outside of tradition and culturally conditioned mindsets to solve for myself, to carve out what my actual life is supposed to look like, specifically curated and designed by me. I challenge you to do the same. So here we go. As we grow up, from the day that we are born, we are taught to be a certain way. Automatically would come with labels, boy or girl, right? Gender neutral name, boy or girl name, right? Based on your parents, you should be this tall or this short or this wide or this small. Labels from day one telling us who we are and how we should identify with ourselves. And with new cultures coming about, LGBT communities, biomic people, people of color, changes that are happening every single day, we can no longer afford to live in a space where we can't clearly define ourselves. And I find that once you take a little bit of time to invest in self-discovery, happiness can ensue. You no longer need permission to be yourself as it relates to people's idea of you. And that is the preface of The Waiting Room, how to get out there and solve for self. Now, what does that look like? Does it mean you go to work and cuss your boss out and say, you know what, because I'm not who you want me to be, you're trash, I quit? In an ideal world, I can see how that can be alluring. We've all wanted to do it. However, how can you use that energy to channel your best self to outwork your supervisor? Or perhaps chase a dream, find that man, buy that new house, drive that new car. There is no one specific roadmap. So break out your pen, get your paper, get your iPhone, because here we go. This is Jess' top 5 keys to success to solve for self. Rule number 1, forget. Absolutely forget what anybody has to say about you and who you are supposed to be. Identify with yourself. If you're short, own it. If you're tall, own it. If you're smart, own it. If you're not so smart, be the not so smartest person in the world you can be. It all boils down to this one thing: commitment. Commit to the idea of self. Rule number 2, stay around like-minded energy. The energy that you pour out into the world is oftentimes the energy that you can get right back. When you are in sync and in parallel with people that pour into you, love you, questions of concerns, different perspectives, it changes the way that you think. It changes your perspective. It rounds out possible ideas that you probably never even considered had you not stepped out there and conversed out loud what your dreams and ideas are. We call them our backers, our day ones. Hold them tight, because once they're gone, you're still there by yourself. waiting. And that's what we want to avoid. Rule number 3, get out of your own way. Far too many times we second guess ourselves with the what ifs, or why not, or does he, or how could she? How in the world can we ever get anything done if we're constantly inside our own heads trying to figure out if we are good enough? Self-love is very important. Rule number 4, location, location, location. Yes, always seek out opportunities in and around your community, hobbies or things that you enjoy, places that you like to go, and actually talk to people that are around you. You'd be amazed how many people that are walking around that look like average you and me who do amazing things in the community and may have assets that you can probably participate in to help you get to where you want to go. Smile. It's okay to say hi to people. It's okay to introduce yourself as who you are and not your capacity or your job title. You never know. That's how I got here. That's a story for another day. And rule number 5, just love. If you lead everything with love and compassion, there is nothing that can't be healed and there is nothing that can be done. So these are my takeaways. Thank you for joining me today and introducing myself to you. And of course, the ultimate self-help channel on YouTube, The Waiting Room, where you can come for anything that ails you. We are going to have a fun-filled season and we're going to address the good, the bad, the ugly, the comedic, and the downright petty and outlandish experiences that we have in life that put us in the waiting room. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's been fun. Hope to see you again. Mwah. Peace. Good night.